Welcome back to the 58th episode of the BatChums podcast. I'm Drew Leiter, and joining me tonight is my co-host, the man, the myth, the new legend, Mike Gordon.
Howdy. I think I'm a bit under the weather. Maybe I've under a spell of some kind, maybe. There might be a little witchcraft involved. I'm not really sure, but anyway, I am going to carry on as the dynamic duo would and sort of go forth and do this because yeah, this is going to be a fun one to talk about.
All right, so this is Batman Season 2, Episode 23, Marsha, Queen of Diamonds. Episode aired Wednesday, November 23rd, 1966, directed by James B. Clark and written by Stanford Sherman.
Isn't it weird? Okay, we're still in 1966. Now we know that this series is called Batman 66, usually referred to as Batman 66, but it's amazing to me how much of it still like happens and aired in 1966. I think it covers 3 seasons and we're on season 2. So, but it still aired in 66. But it's just funny to me that it seems like, man, another episode that aired in 66. It's like, wow. But when most of these episodes are when it aired twice a week, of course, there's a lot of episodes that air. So that just stands to reason, but it still sounds odd. I'm like, man, are we ever going to get to 67? Um, the um, the other thing I wanted to point out too is the writer of this episode, Stanford Sherman, is one that should be familiar to us because he wrote the awesome Penguin two-parter that we reviewed with the Monkey Around crew, where he ran for mayor. And this is the second story of his, second two-parter of his. Of he goes on to write a lot more episodes, as we'll see. But he's got a lot to live up to because that we all loved that two-parter. So this is his first sort of story since then. So I think well we'll see how as we go forward through this one if this holds up. But
Another sparkling day in Gotham City at the U Main at the U Magnum Diamond store. Sergeant O'Leary is making sure the men are ready. They have orders to stop the Queen of Diamonds from stealing the pretzel diamond at all costs.
now the we meet several of O'Hara's subordinates. We meet O'Leary, O'Toole, O'Rourke, and Goldberg. Which one of these is not like the other? Sergeant O'Leary is played by James O'Hara, which is odd, right? Like O'Hara, right? But James O'Hara, he was in the Batman movie. He played one of the airport control tower ops in that movie. He's also been featured in movies like The Quiet Man with John Wayne, My Fair Lady, and he also appeared in a little regarded movie, I think, a Disney movie called Darby O'Gill and the Little People. Are you familiar with this movie? It starred
No.
Sean Connery, and it's a Disney movie. But he was in this movie, and another actor who we will see in this episode appeared in that movie too, but I will save that for a little bit later.
Chief O'Hara arrives at the U Magnum Diamond store in a silver Rolls Royce
He
with
arrives in style. And weren't you like, why is O'Hara arriving in a limo?
yes, I was wondering that too. With a two police motorcycle escort.
Oh yeah,
Chief,
man. I was like, man, you go, Chief. It's good to
Chief
be the
O'Hara
truth.
Chief O'Hara checks with Sergeant O'Leary to make sure the pretzel diamond is still inside the store. Chief O'Hara returns to the silver Rolls Royce and helps the Queen of Diamonds out of the back seat. Chief O'Hara seems to be completely under her control.
Dun, dun, dun. This is our introduction to Marsha, Queen of Diamonds. You familiar with Marsha? Have you seen this episode before, Drew?
I hadn't seen this episode before.
Okay. So Marsha, the Queen of Diamonds, is a original series character, not from the comics at all. This is a completely created character for the series. The role was originally intended for Zsa Zsa Gabor, and I think if you know Zsa Zsa Gabor, you could probably see that happening, right?
Yes.
And indeed, it was announced that she was going to be in this role, but it didn't work out. Her schedule, she said she would love to do it, but and she kind of hoped that since this didn't work out, that she would show up later. Please, hold her have her in consideration for a part later on. And spoiler alert, we will see her later on. So if you are a fan of Zsa Zsa Gabor, we will see her a little bit later on in the series, just not as Marsha Queen of Diamonds. Now, um, you may notice also that Marsha Queen of Diamonds has a power similar to another popular comic character from Batman's Rogues, Poison Ivy, right? The fact
Yep.
that she can has men under her control, right? Now, Poison Ivy debuted in Batman 181, which was cover dated June 1966 and appeared on the stands in April 1966. So it's unclear whether Poison Ivy inspired this character or not, but it does kind of gel. I mean, Poison Ivy makes her debut, and then sometime later, a few months later, we get Marsha Queen of Diamonds, who has a sort of similar set. Although you couldn't dress a 60s character like Poison Ivy, right? Like, because that the censors wouldn't allow that. Um, so that maybe that was part of it. I don't know. I haven't seen anything to reference that Poison Ivy was an inspiration for this character, but they do have sort of similar power sets here. And Marsha, Queen of Diamonds, is played by the amazing, the gorgeous, the impeccable Carolyn Jones, who you must recognize, right? You must recognize Carolyn Jones.
Yeah, I recognized her. I didn't know what she was from, though.
Really? Pardon me. Um, she is most famously known for playing Morticia Adams in the Addams Family.
Oh, okay. That's why I recognized her.
Yeah, she does look a little different here. Instead of the long black hair and the slinky black outfit that she's wearing, but she played Morticia from 1964 to 1966. So this is right after she's done with that role. Carolyn had a amazing career actually as a film actress prior to her roles in TV. She was in a movie called The Turning Point, which is a great film noir. She was actually appeared in the 1953 version of War of the Worlds. She's in the 1953 version of House of Wax with Vincent Price. She was in The 7 Year Itch with Marilyn Monroe. She was in the Hitchcock movie Man Who Knew Too Much, 1956. She was in the 1956 version of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. She was also in a 1962 movie, a Western called How the West Was Won. And then later on, she would play another character in DC on TV. She would play Queen Hippolyta. What's
Hippolyta.
Hippolyta? Thank you. Wow, I couldn't get that out. Hippolyta. She was actually the second actress to play her in the series because I believe Cloris Leachman played her first in the first series of Wonder Woman, and then the second series when they introduced Wonder Girl. That's when Carolyn Jones shows up as the Queen. And then she also was and she worked until 1980s. 1982, she's in a soap opera called Capital, which I actually watched. I love Carolyn Jones, by the way. Carolyn Jones, she played this power-driven matriarch in that soap opera starting in 1981. Now, while she was on that show, she was diagnosed with colon cancer, and she played many of the scenes in the wheelchair. In fact, the cancer, as the cancer was spreading, she did not let anybody know, her colleagues or anybody, cast and crew, know that she was ill. And she worked for like 170 some episodes of that show until she finally passed away shortly thereafter. But She's an amazing talent, and it's great to see her in this series. The fact that Zaza Gabor couldn't do this role, I think we are all better for it because I think she's great in this part, and she is actually going to be the first of three Addams Family alumni to appear on this series. Sharp Eyes look for other Addams Family alumni to appear because once the show's canceled, they need they need somewhere to go. So Batman's hiring, so why not? But she kind of plays this part kind of with a Morticia type accent, I believe. Because yeah, some of her other roles, she's a little bit more straightforward. She has quite a range, but here she sort of plays this darling, like she does as Morticia, and I think it works really, really well.
Chief O'Hara and his men escort the Queen of Diamonds into the jewelry store. Chief O'Hara demands that the jewelers bring him the pretzel diamond or they will be arrested. Chief O'Hara hands the Queen of Diamonds the pretzel diamond. Before they leave, the Queen of Diamond asks the jewelers for a bag. They
Okay.
hand her a pound paper bag. I just laughed at that because a jewelry store having paper bags.
Yeah, well, they weren't too thrilled about it, right? They weren't gonna. But hands up, how many people were disappointed that the pretzel diamond wasn't the shape of a pretzel? Come on, man. You name it the pretzel diamond. Come on. The prop guys failed here on this one because it should have been shaped like a pretzel.
I totally agree. Chief O'Hara tells the Queen of Diamonds that anything in Gotham City is hers. Take my life, take my love, take my arm.
Oh, she wouldn't have to work hard to get me to follow her. Let's put it that way.
In the Batcave, Batman and Robin are repairing a piece of equipment that uses a giant diamond as one of its components. Batman has Alfred turn it on. The piece of equipment has several gems that light up, and the giant diamond underneath spins around.
So the Bat Diamond's new.
Yeah, I'm like, I saw that scene, and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense so whatsoever.
Yeah, yeah. It's
How
like
can a diamond power your bat computer?
so, well, look, I'm throwing logic out the window, but I love the fact that they act like it's been there the whole time. And we just haven't seen it.
I think we'd pick up on a big giant diamond.
Yeah, yeah. It's whatever the story holds, right? It's like, oh, well, we need a big diamond in here. Well, of course, that we've been running on this Bat Diamond for the whole series. So, we just didn't tell anybody. Just like we've always had an extension up at the top.
I know. That was going to be my next comment when we get there. Suddenly, the bat phone rings. Alfred answers it. It is Commissioner Gordon. Batman takes the call on the bat extension and learns about Chief O'Hara. The dynamic duo race to police headquarters. I thought that was ridiculous. We have a phone right down there, but then we put this phone up on the on this where they're hardly ever going to be.
Yeah, yeah. That's like, really? You're up there that often that you need an extension up there? Really? Like that does. Um, the other thing is weird too. I know he does it a lot but whenever I think of Robin getting into the Batmobile, I think of him not opening the door. And yet here he opens the door to get in the Batmobile. Now, I don't know if this is done because Burt Ward is still suffering his injury, and maybe he's not up to hopping over the door to get in. But it always throws me that whenever he opens the door to actually get in. But yeah, he does. So here, I've always seen him like just sort of hop in and out of there, right? That's what I always picture in my head. But here he's opening the door.
Back at the Queen of Diamonds hideout, Chief O'Hara is being kept in a cage. He doesn't
Literally.
mind yeah, he doesn't mind being in there as long as he can be near her. The Queen of Diamonds walks out of the room, and there are four other men in cages as well, all begging to be near Marsha, the Queen of Diamonds.
Yeah, we don't really know who those other guys are, but doesn't really matter. He's just got a cage full of guys. Yeah, very creepy.
Yeah. Marcia goes to a bedroom where she lies on the bed and stares at herself through a handheld mirror. The Grand Mogul enters and reports that one of her admirers attempted to commit suicide to show their devotion. He threw himself into an automatic dryer and tried to tumble himself to death, but
Uh,
failed.
uh,
Marcia comments, "How boring."
pretty gruesome stuff. And it's always striking to me when the word like suicide is mentioned on these 60 shows or whatever, because I just don't think that they, threw those words around very much. But um, did you recognize the Grand Mogul?
No, I didn't.
He is played by accomplished actor Woody Strode, and Woody Strode has a tremendous career. He was in The Ten Commandments in 1956. He had a amazing part in this movie in 1960 called Sergeant Rutledge. He was in Spartacus. He's probably that's one of the things he's best known for, probably. He was also in a few westerns, Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, 1962, Once Upon a Time in the West, 1968. He was in the TV series How the West Was Won in 1976, which is kind of interesting because Carolyn Jones was in the movie How the West Was Won in 1962, and Woody Strode appeared in the series. And so they were kind of unrelated, but still, I did think it was odd that that title came up on both of their resumes. He was also featured in Buck Rogers in 1979, that series. He played one of the uh, what it wasn't the Federation, but Buck Rogers had that series of he had that group of fighters, right? Like fighter pilots, and he was one of those, I think. And he worked quite late in his life. He was in The Quick and the Dead, the Western, 1995. But as far as African American actors goes, he is in wide regard because he didn't just take stereotypical roles. He really added a lot of class and presence to whatever roles he was in, and he chose his roles very carefully and really made an impact in that community, and is highly regarded, not just among African Americans, but among all actors. He was very strong. So if you ever get like he's one of those actors that if you see something like he always makes something better because he's in it, including this
Marcia,
episode.
Marcia asks about the Bat Diamond. The Grand Mogul reports that the Bat Diamond is used as a power source for the Batcomputer. It is well over 10,000 carats in size.
She knows. We didn't know, but she knew. We've been watching this series since the first. We've been watching this series since the first episode. We didn't know they had a bat diamond, but somehow she knows.
Maybe it's one of her super abilities.
Maybe.
Next, the Grand Mogul loads a love dart on Cupid's bow, which is attached to a small golden Cupid statue that the Queen of Diamonds uses as a weapon by remote control. Mar- Marcia promises that she will be in the Batcave once her little trap is sprung.
Yeah, she's got a plan. She's got a plan. Now it's established here that unlike Poison Ivy, she does not kiss and sort of chemically induce her victims. She uses an old-fashioned method, which is Cupid's arrow, to sort of infect her subjects. And we find out a little bit more about how that potion is made.
Holy Houdini! Batman and Robin are at police headquarters, but Commissioner Gordon is missing. Robin states that the Queen of Diamonds is dealing from the bottom of the deck.
Nice line. I like that.
Batman states all they can do is wait and hope Commissioner Gordon is not walking into a trap.
Which they're about to do
Back at, back at the Queen of Diamonds hideout, Commissioner Gordon arrives and demands to know where Chief O'Hara is.
without any
Marcia
backup.
Marcia asks Commissioner Gordon to sit on her bed and relax. Commissioner Gordon replies that her hanky panky won't work on him. He demands O'Hara. Marcia asks Commissioner Gordon if he finds her attractive, but Commissioner Gordon states her charms are useless. Then he calls then he calls her an evil temptress. He is not going to dance to her little tune. Marcia pulls out a remote control and presses a button. The love dart hits Commissioner Gordon in the butt. Suddenly, Commissioner Gordon removes his hat and falls to his knees. He tells Marcia that he is hers to command.
Yeah, you were much more blunt about it than I was. In my notes, I put love dart in the backside.
Back at Commissioner Gordon's office, Batman answers the phone. Holy hypnotism! Batman tells Robin that Commissioner Gordon has fallen under the Queen of Diamonds' spell. Back at the Queen of Diamonds' hideout, Commissioner Gordon has been put in a cage as well. As Marsha is leaving the room, Commissioner Gordon and Chief O'Hara fight over who Marsha belongs to.
Where is she getting all these big, large cages? There must be a guy in Gotham, and all he does is get orders for like large things. I mean, we saw the first season, large books that the villains would use to do certain things, and now he gets an order for, a dozen large cages, bird-like cages, but could fit like men in them. Yeah, yeah, that must be a guy who just does all this stuff. He's making bank.
No kidding. Marcia pays a visit to her Aunt Hilda in the basement. Aunt Hilda is wearing a black witch's costume and brewing up a potion. Aunt Hilda mentions that she used to be a chemistry professor at Vassar College, but was fired after using one of her potions in the school cafeteria, turning the students orange for a week.
Now,
Mar-
does Aunt Hilda seem familiar to you at all?
yes, she seemed very familiar. Yeah, she seemed very familiar to me, but I couldn't place her.
Maybe I can help. She is played by the wonderful Estelle Winwood. Now, when she's playing this
Oh,
part, and when
I
she's
remember where she was from now because I,
when
I looked it up. I forgot I looked it up. She was on Bewitched.
she was in a couple of episodes of Bewitched, she played a similar character. She played Aunt Enchantra in Bewitched. Now, this was a couple of years before this, so and I don't think Bewitched was on the. I have to look to see if it was on the same network. But in any case, it's one of those occurrences where it's kind of the same character, but a little bit different, maybe. But Estelle Winwood. Now, when she's in this episode, she's 83 years old.
Oh wow.
Now, she continued to live until she was 101. And she was working well into her 90s and still making public appearances when she was 100. So she had a great life. She was in such movies as Camelot, 1967. She was also in The Producers, the Mel Brooks movie. That was also in 1967. She's probably most notably known, at least for me, in Murder by Death. She plays a nurse in the 1976 movie that's a satire on great detective movies with Peter Sellers, David Niven. A bunch of great actors are in that one. That's a really fun movie, and she has a fun part in that too. But she played a lot. She had a huge range, and she was around for a long time. So veteran actress. So this is a all-star cast that are that's in this episode. It's amazing to me. It seems like every time I turned around, I was like, I know that person. I know that person. I was like, wow. So they did not spare the horses on this one.
Marcia states she needs a potion powerful enough to work on Batman. And I gotta tell you, that big old cauldron, how much potion did she need?
Well, she's
It's like a
got like,
lifetime supply.
hey, she's got like what, 4 or 5 guys up in the cages already. So the potion probably wears out after a little bit. So she's got to keep upping it, upping it, upping it. So like she needs it, man.
Later, Batman and Robin arrive at the Queen of Diamonds hideout. She
And of
tells them to sit
sorry,
down.
sorry, Drew. And of course they just went to the guy. Could you make a large cauldron, an extra large cauldron? And the guy's like, sure, I could do that. So, so yeah, that guy is like I said, just turning out big things. Sorry, go ahead.
Later, Batman and Robin arrive at the Queen of Diamonds hideout. She tells them to sit down and make themselves comfortable.
Wait a
Batman
minute,
state
wait. Batman and Robin go into the hideout, and the narrator all of a sudden goes, "Watch out, Batman!" I'm like, why is he coming in now?
I did
It's
notice that. That was kind of weird.
all of a sudden William Dozer's like on the screen, watch out, Batman. I'm like, when have you ever in like like talk to the characters in the middle of an episode? Like that was really bizarre. I don't know why that was in there, but it just threw me off. I was just like, what is this? So I just thought that was very strange, but I had to point that out.
Batman states they are not here to be comfortable. This is strictly a business call. Marsha calls Batman rude. Robin rebuttals that Batman is never rude to a lady, but Marsha is no lady.
Yeah,
Batman
yeah.
Batman criticizes Robin, stating that Marsha is a woman and as such deserves some courtesy. Batman demands to know where Commissioner Gordon and Chief O'Hara are. Marsha replies that they are unimportant. She wants to talk about her and Batman. She uses the remote control. Marsha hits Batman with a love dart in the back. Robin pulls out the dart, stating it is poisoned. Marsha corrects Robin,
It didn't hit
stating,
his backside. She aimed
no,
a
it
little
didn't
high.
hit it.
She aimed a little higher with Batman. Did not hit him. It would have been awkward if Robin had like sort of grabbed his butt. But there's enough bromance going on in this episode as it is. I don't think we needed that.
Marsha corrects Robin, stating it isn't poison, but merely a disposition improver. Batman tells Robin it is some sort of drug that is bending his will, making him fall in love with her. Holy fate, worse than death. Robin tells Batman he has to resist it. Marsha tells Batman to fall to his knees and worship her. Finally, Batman tells Marsha that her drug did not work. He is not even mildly he is not even mildly interested.
Yeah, that weird, but um he didn't need to go that far. But Adam is amazing in this scene. It's just him for like a minute and a half battling this drug that is trying to make him fall in love, and it looks like he's almost, dare I say, orgasmic over the whole thing. Like he's just making these faces and selling it. It's wonderful to behold. And Robin's like, "Oh, come on, Batman, you can beat it. You can beat it." Well, we'll see what happens if you get hit by the dart, son. It's easy to say that now.
Marsha shouts, outrageous! How dare Batman reject Marsha, Queen of Diamonds? She claps for her henchmen and tells them to carve Batman and Robin into camel food. A
Ew.
fight ensues. During the fighting, Marsha loads another love dart on Cupid and fires it at Robin. He is now under her spell. Marsha tells Robin to stop Batman.
Now, here you can definitely tell Burt Ward is still hurt. He has his cape drawn over his bandaged arm, so you don't really see his arm here. He looks really badass because he's got the cape, half cape, and he looks really cool. So it's I guess it's great that he has the cape to sell it, but yeah, he's still suffering from that injury. But we get for the first time. I thought the fight sequence was really well done, and really innovative too. Usually, the first fight of a story is not the best fight, and it remains to be seen whether this will be the best fight. Whether we see another fight in the second half. But I thought the fight sequence was really cool. And then yeah, we get, I think for the first time, we get Batman versus Robin.
Robin starts battling Batman with a sword, telling him that he'll fight him to the death. Batman surrenders.
Yeah, because Batman's like, I could take you. It's no fight, son. But yeah, because Robin doesn't even seem to be fighting it. Like Batman gave quite an effort to fight off the drug. Dick has no chance. He's just like, I'm done.
Well, this just kind of shows that Batman's better trained in that kind of stuff, and Robin is not.
The
So,
only thing that was missing from this is if at one point, during this, that 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 Dick had said, "Marsha, Marsha, Marsha."
in exchange for Robin and the antidote, Marsha wants the Bat Diamond, but wants to go to the Batcave herself and get it. Batman states absolutely not. He vowed a sacred vow that no stranger would ever enter the Batcave.
Um,
What?
can we put a yeah?
That was my reaction. I was like, "What?"
Like, was this a recent vow? Because
No.
was this a vow that he made like 5 minutes ago? Because we have seen a lot of people in the Batcave.
Commissioner Gordon. Now, he's not a stranger, but
At least three malls, one of which you
yeah.
died in the Batcave. Now, see, after Molly passed away in the first, in the first story, I could see where, Batman would make the vow, no, I'm not going to bring anybody else here. But they were bringing girls in there to interrogate them.
Well, they
Like
brought the
several
penguin there
times.
in the movie.
They brought the Penguin there in the movie. They had his henchmen there in the movie. Now, of course, they didn't know that the henchmen were there, but and of course, they're in some sort of weird state now. I don't know if they're still alive. Probably not. But um, yeah, this was a weird. I was like, Sanford Sherman, did have you like watched an episode of this before? Because there's been a lot of quote unquote, and then and then go ahead. So yeah, because I'm sure you're going to get to it. So go ahead.
To get around Batman's vow, Marsha comes up with the idea to become Mrs. Batman.
Okay.
Reluctantly, Batman agrees it is the only way to save Robin, Commissioner Gordon, and Chief O'Hara.
Now, it's one thing for Marsha to sort of hold Robin over and say, "Give me the diamond, let me in the cave." But she doesn't like it. The logic is that she uses is that you vowed that no stranger should be allowed in, so we need to get married. I'm like, you can be friends and not be strangers. You don't need to be married to not be a stranger. And I guess that would be the sort of thing I would say to anybody who's like pointed out that many people have been in the Batcave before because maybe they didn't consider them strangers because they knew who they were. But I don't know. In any case, all that said, it does allow for this wonderful thing that we never thought we'd see, which is Batman getting married. Which is, if you're going to have that concept, then Batman 60 series is the time to do it. And this is played out, I think, pretty well. I think it's a really cool idea. If Stanford Sherman's original pitch is like, what if we have a character that convinces Batman he has to get married to her, like that, I could see them going, yeah, let's get the green light on that. I don't know if it had ever happened in the comics. There is a famous Batman cover where he's getting married to, is it Batwoman? Um, I have to go and look. Now I'm gonna do that research because it just hit me when because I was trying to think of other instances where now we've seen recently where Batman has gotten married or has
Was supposed to
approached
get
getting was
married.
supposed to get married, right?
Right.
To Selena Kyle, I believe, was one of them. But yeah, I don't know if this was the very first instance where he was led down the aisle, so to speak. Um, but I will do some research on that for the next episode and see if I can get an answer on if in the comics he was ever put in this position. Because I would sort of be curious about that. But yeah, it is an interesting idea, and I think it's played out here pretty well.
Hey, I think you you sparked a memory in me too, because it sounds familiar. I wonder if it was a Talia al Ghul thing.
There is a
Uh,
there is a wonderful cover that an issue that it's either Batman or Detective Comics that I thought of too, where it's Batman and Talia on the cover and Robin's in the middle, and he's like, if either she goes or I go.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's one of the covers I was thinking of too. But I
yeah.
can't remember if she was in a I don't think she was in a wedding gown in that.
No, she's in her black, sort of almost
outfit.
Catwoman-like
Like,
outfit.
yeah,
Yeah, her bodysuit. Yeah.
because I remember seeing that cover and thinking that it was Catwoman at first, and then realized it was Talia.
Yeah, yeah. Now, I don't, yeah, they came close to, one could say they consummated their relationship, but they never got married. I think there's a Robin that would be thankful that they consummated their relationship. Not Dick Grayson, but yeah.
Back at Wayne Manor, Aunt Harriet is upset to learn from the news that Batman is going to marry the Queen of Diamonds. Alfred states that he believes Batman is being coerced into marrying the Queen of Diamonds. Alfred suggests that as citizens of Gotham City, they should come up with a plan to help Batman after all he's done for the city.
Look at Alfred, man. He's like he goes from in the last episode almost saving the day and single-handedly taking down the Joker to going, "Oh, Batman's in trouble. Come on." And he's got a sidekick in Aunt Harriet. So it'll be curious to see whether those two actually try to, I mean, help and save the dynamic duo here.
I think they are going to be the ones to stop this wedding because this felt like a setup for it.
Yeah, yeah. And
So,
it's cool to see them used this way, right? Like
yeah.
instead of a shot of just them going, "Oh well." That's weird, and then moving on. Although Alfred's, when Aunt Harriet says, if Bruce were here, he'd know what to do. And Alfred says, I don't think so.
At a local church, the wedding ceremony begins. The minister asks Marsha if she will take Batman as her lawfully wedded husband. Marsha replies that she does. When Batman is asked if he will take Marsha to be his lawfully wedded wife, Batman stutters I a few times, but doesn't get the words out.
I'm going to say something.
Hold
Oh,
on, Mr. and Mrs. Batman? The dynamic duo may be a trio? The Queen of Diamonds aims high? Find out tomorrow whether she misses or misses. Same bat time, same bat channel. And
Mrs.
hang
Batman,
on to your rice.
hang on to your rights. All right. I have expressed my complete adoration uh, for Carolyn Jones here, and I mean no disrespect. But I have looked everywhere, and I was trying to find out if it was possible that she was pregnant during this filming, because I am used to seeing her, especially on as Morticia Adams in the Adams family, in these very slinky, thin outfits. And here she's like the half the episode she's wearing this black, sort of like a muumuu shaped thing where it's huge. And then as she's coming down the aisle, she's in white, but we don't get any sort of close-up shots. Instead, she's holding her flowers or bouquet in front of her, so she's kind of almost hiding her stomach. So, but according to everything I read, she was. I found no evidence that she was pregnant here, and I certainly don't mean any disrespect. If after she played, after she was done with the Addams Family, she said, "I'm going to gain a few pounds." I don't blame her for that. Um, but I just found it kind of strange that she was dressed so oddly, especially on this series, because they seem to make a point of having women dressed as like in as form-fitting outfits as possible. And she's wearing some very large dresses here. So I thought that was odd. But I certainly, again, I mean no disrespect. So, um, but anyway, what did you think of the first part of this two-parter, this Marsha Queen of Diamonds introduction?
I liked the episode, and I found it interesting. But the only problem I really had with it was when Batman said he made a vow. Bring no strangers into the Bat Cave.
Yeah, that was.
But otherwise, this was a fun episode.
Yeah, I think so. I think it played to everybody's strengths. I don't know, and we'll see in the second half if this pans out. I don't know if we needed the Aunt Hilda character. By the way, not only is the actress known has played witches before in the past, but Aunt Hilda is typically a name associated with a lot of witches. I think there's a cartoon or a sort of comic strip character, Hilda the Witch, right? And so I think that's, pretty common. So I don't know if she's really necessary. At least didn't seem absolutely necessary to this first part, but we'll see if that pans out in the second part. If she does more with potions than just having guys fall under her spell or what. But I really thought this was a fun episode. I think everybody is having fun with this. The main actors are doing something a little bit different. Like I said, there's a lot of bromance going on between, the chief and the commissioner and Batman and Robin and that kind of thing. And they seem like they're all mostly concerned with like their male buddies than they are with with Marsha. But it's a lot of fun. And we get this wedding scene, which is just hilarious, I think. So. I can't wait to see how it turns out.
Same here. And I'm kind of curious what Magic Batman's gonna think about this next episode.
Yeah, we
So
need to see if Magic Batman is afraid to tie the knot.
so it'll be interesting to see what he has to say about this wedding. All right, well that wraps up another episode. Do you have a shout out, Mike?
Well, the newest season of Doctor Who the newest season of Doctor Who featuring Ncuti Gatwa as the Doctor has come to an end. A lot of spoilers out there. I'm not going to spoil anything, but if you have watched it or you're interested in it, I do know that we have done a deep dive on the events that have happened, and we are doing a whole season review and we will be talking about a lot of things that happened in this season over the course of the next few episodes of Earth Station Who, which is another podcast that I do with Mike Faber and Mary Ogle and Melanie Dean. We're having a great time talking all things Doctor Who, and now that it's going on hiatus for a little while, we will be reviewing classic episodes, continuing to do that as well. So if you want to get caught up on all things Doctor Who or find out what the heck is going on with this current season, what does it mean, please feel free to check out our podcast. It's also vidcast on YouTube. So the same way you're watching us, you can watch episodes of Earth Station Who, and you can, of course, listen to it audio wise on all the places where you get podcasts.
All right, and for my shout out, I'm gonna shout out about my Batman clock that I got for Christmas because I finally got it hung up. So you
Woohoo!
guys can check this. So if you are watching this on YouTube, you'll get to be able to see it because I gotta flip my camera around.
Look out! Look out! Ah!
All right, there it
Whoa!
is.
There it is, next to Yoda.
Oh yeah, next to Yoda and the Millennium Falcon.
That looks pretty cool.
I could even. The thing is, I could change the colors on it. Can you tell what color it is?
It looks
And
bluish.
yeah, it's blue.
Yeah, yeah.
You can make it red,
Oh, nice.
green, dark blue,
Oh,
yellow,
okay.
a light blue, which is what I had it at, and a pink color.
All right, I just noticed the Joker face at the bottom there.
Yes. So what they did was they took a record and made the clock out of it somehow.
Oh, very cool. Was the record like something that was already previously you had that artwork on it?
I don't think so. No, it's like cut out. Let me see if I can get you closer. Let me see how far close this camera will get to it.
Uh-oh, uh-oh. On an adventure, everybody.
I can't see. I can only point it at it, but can you see it, the whole thing?
I could see the Joker hit. We could see the bottom of it. Pan up. Pan up. There. Oh, that's two up, two up, two up. There you go. That's perfect. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. Very
Yeah,
nice.
it's
Where'd you get that? Do you know?
my son gave it to me. I don't know where he got it from. I should probably
Okay.
ask him that.
Well, people can take a screenshot and Google it, and I'm sure they could find it.
Oh,
And
so people get a look at my shirt that I usually wear.
well, that's very cool, Drew.
So yeah, I've been enjoying it the last couple of weeks I've had it up. But I've been flipping the colors all the time. Like if I green watch Green Lantern, I'll flip it green. So, all right. If you'd like to comment on anything we've talked about tonight, you can reach us at our feedback line 317-455-8411. Leave us a message, text us, or you can email us at batchumspodcast@gmail.com. Also, don't forget to check out our Earth Station DCU BatChums Patreon, where Mike and I are reviewing Batman Cape Crusaders. We now have episodes 1 through 3 up there, soon to be 4 coming out later this week. So exciting stuff.
Really good series, and I hope people can check it out. And thank you for all your support. Anybody who's supporting us on Patreon, we love you.
All right, you ready to get out of here, Batchum?
Bat Chum's ready to move out.
Atomic batteries to power, turbines to speed. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Same bat wedding, same bat channel, same bat wedding bells. I don't know. Hold on to your rice.
Don't worry, the vows are yet to come.